Hello from Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Today we're going to talk about 8 things from Exodus 24 and 25. First, 70 elders come up to the mountain during this time where God is revealing the law to Moses. And 70 is a significant number. It's a minor significant number, but in the Bible you see 70 gets sent out by Jesus, and here 70 elders are brought in by God. Number 2, the covenant Israel is making with God involves blood. This kind of ups the ante, so to speak, but blood as a significant theme all throughout Scripture. It's sacred in some ways, we'll see that in the law, but also Jesus, through his blood, makes a significant covenant with us. Number 3, they fast. They're fasting. They're not eating. And in the middle of this fast, they see God. Well, we don't know exactly what this is. The Bible does say if you saw God in his fullness, you would die. But there are several references to seeing God, his back or his presence or, fire on the mountain. In this one, they see, whether it's by vision or a clouded reality or whatever, they see God, and he's got this sapphire-like thing under his feet. It's like this pavement that he's on or something. And this is going to happen. This imagery is going to happen surrounding seeing God again in Ezekiel 10. So something about the sapphire footing that God is on is there. Number 4, 6 days Moses is up on the mountain before God even speaks. On the 7th day he speaks. 6th and 7th. We've heard that a lot these days. That is the theme. 6 days you work, on 7th you rest. 6 days Moses is there, on the 7th God speaks to him. Number 5, the Lord was like fire on the mountain. The Israelites got to see this flame on the top of Mount Sinai, and there he is. And Moses is up there for 40 days and 40 nights, just like the flood. None of these numbers are by accident. It's the biblical marking to them, like 3 days, But 40 days, 40 nights, Moses is up there on the mountain. So it's not like, here's the law. It's a significant investment of time while he's getting the law from God. God tells Moses, number 6, to take an offering from the people, and they're going to build a sanctuary. That's going to be called the tabernacle. And God even gives Moses the pattern to build it off of. He's not just guessing, hey, go build something, get some stuff. But he takes the offering, the people contribute, and they build this traveling tabernacle where they will worship God until they get their permanent spot later. Number 7, the Ark of the Covenant is also be built. And depending on your thoughts on how big a cubit is, some people say elbow to hand here, or about roughly 18 inches, or maybe it was a slightly different measurement. The point is the ark is about 3 feet 9 inches long, about 2 feet 3 inches wide, and about 2 feet 3 inches tall. So it's a fairly good sized thing, and wooden poles are slid through, so they slide through these rings so that they can be held on, and nobody's going to be touching the ark. It's going to be the seat of God. He can sit there, the grace seat. Pretty interesting there. And they fashion the top. There's going to be cherubs or cherubim. Remember, im is kind of the multiple ending there of cherub. And they extend their wings, and that's what God is going to sit on. And this is the first reference of cherubim since they were put to guard the Garden of Eden. So, interesting thought there. Let's check it out. Chapter 24 and 25. 24, and he said unto Moses, come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders, and worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words of the Lord said, we shall do. Well, they won't, but they should promise God to try. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord and rose up early in the morning and built an altar on the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people. And they said, all the Lord has said we will do, and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. Then Moses went up, and Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders, and they saw the God of Israel. And there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were, the body of heaven in its clearness. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. They also saw God, and did not eat and drink. And the Lord said unto Moses, come up to the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and a law, and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua. And Moses went up into the mount of God, and he said to the elders, tarry here ye for us, until we come again. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters, let him come unto them. And Moses went up into the mount, and the cloud covered the mount, and the glory of the Lord abode upon the Mount Sinai. And the cloud covered it 6 days. And on the 7th day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud. And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like devouring fire upon the mount, in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud, and gat him up on the mountain, and Moses was on the mount 40 days and 40 nights. So we find this often, that they'll tell a story once and retell it, or, give more details. And so that's why it seems like, didn't we hear this already? But it's like the creation in Genesis chapter 1. He tells the story, but then he retells it, but now including the creation of man specifically. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering. Every man giveth it willingly with his heart. Ye shall take my offering. And this is an offering which ye shall take of them gold and silver and brass, and blue and purple and scarlet, and fine linen, and goat's hair, and ram skins dyed red, and badger skins, and shittim wood, oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stones, and stones to be set in the ephod and in the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all I show thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all the instrument thereof. Even so ye shall make it. And ye shall make an ark of shittim wood. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half of breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, within and without thou shalt overlay it, and shall make upon the crown of gold round about. And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof, and 2 rings shall be on one side of it, and 2 rings on the other side of it. Thou shalt make staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the side of the ark, that the ark may be borne with them. The staves shall be in the rings of the ark, and they shall not be taken from it. And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I give thee. So the tablets of stone, are going to be inside the ark. And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold. I said grace. I apologize. A mercy seat. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And thou shalt make 2 cherubim of gold. A beaten work shalt thou make them in the ends of the mercy seat. Take 1 cherub on one end, and the other cherub on the other end. Even in the mercy seat shall you make the cherubim on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubim shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings. And their faces shall look one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubim be. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony which I will give thee, and there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubim which are on the ark of the testimony, and all things which I shall give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel. Thou shalt also make a table of shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and a cubit of breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half of height. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold about it. And thou shalt make it unto a border of a handbreadth round about. And thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about. And thou shalt make it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that are on the 4 feet thereof. Over against the border shall be the rings before the staves to bear the table. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, that the table be born of them. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, and spoons thereof, and covers thereof, and bowls thereof, to cover withal. Of all pure gold shalt thou make them. And thou shalt set upon the table showbread for me also. This is what David and his men will eat later, this bread that's going to be on this table. And notice everything is mobile, because they're going to be wandering for a while. They don't know that yet, but they will be. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold. Of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops, his flowers shall all be the same. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches of the candlestick out of one side, 3 branches of the other side of the candlestick with thee. So again, a candlestick with 7 bits, like a menorah, that's where it comes from. And the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made unto almonds, and their 4 knops shall be flowers, and there shall be a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that proceed out of the candlestick. Their knop shall be the branches of the same. All it shall be of one beaten work of pure gold. And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof that give the light over against it. And the tongs thereof and the snuff dishes thereof shall be pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold you shall make it with all these vessels. And look that thou make them after their pattern which was showed thee unto the mount. And there we see a measurement. Talent is a measurement of weight. So it's got to be a certain amount of weight of gold that goes into the making of the thing. So we're starting to see this tabernacle coming together and all the implements for worship that they're going to have. Pretty incredible. Sometimes it's hard to imagine. You know, I'm not a very visual person that way, to read it and imagine what it would look like. But pretty cool thing. So we're going to continue on finding out about the tabernacle the next time we're here. So catch you later.